Foreign domestic workers in Lebanon are trying to form a union of their own to help protect their rights. There are thousands of foreign domestic workers in Lebanon, and human rights agencies have criticized the government for the lack of laws governing their rights. Clem Orjaliza has the details.
The domestic worker industry in Lebanon is vast. Foreign maids account for more than 5% of the population, according to statistics made in 2012.
Rights groups say many of them end up either physically or sexually abused, and many more do not have access to the simplest rights, such as a day off. Efforts to introduce new labor laws to protect their rights have failed to gain momentum, and although ministers have in the past proposed measures, changes in government posts and apathy have sidelined the issue. In the absence of a government law, migrant domestic workers are now trying to take things upon themselves by planning to form a labor union of their own, which will be, if established, the first of its kind in the Arab world. The union was launched by its workers on January 25, but it has been rejected by the Labor Ministry for lacking legal ground. Despite the government's rejection, the initiative has gained the support of the National Federation of Workers' Unions in Lebanon, or FENASOL. President of FENASOL, Castro Abdallah, explained why he thinks the proposed union deserves support. We as unions, and from an economic and social perspective, believe that this right, that is forming a union, should be granted to those who need it, and especially after we found out, based on the Labor Ministry statistics, that about 254,000 work permits have been granted to domestic workers. So we are talking about 250,000 people. Convention 189, known as C-189, was drafted by the International Labour Organization in 2011. It's a convention that was set up to protect domestic workers' rights and set international labor standards for domestic work.
Migrant domestic workers there do not work under labor laws, but are sponsored to live in the country by their employers, who apply personally for residency permits. Tragic tales of domestic worker abuse in Lebanon are common. Domestic workers' wages are relatively low, and many say they are locked in the house and have their passports confiscated.
Abuse has been so rampant that Ethiopia, the Philippines, Madagascar, and Nepal have once banned their citizens from traveling for employment. Many, however, treat their housemates as members of the family, even taking them away on holiday with them.
According to Human Rights Watch World Report 2015, Lebanon's migrant domestic workers are excluded from the labor law and subject to restrictive immigration rules based on the kafala system, the visa sponsorship system that ties workers to their employers and puts workers at risk of exploitation and abuse. FENASOL says there are more than 250,000 foreign domestic workers in Lebanon. This is Clem Orjaliza, your EBC correspondent from the Middle East. Back to you, Alma.